Wait, it did. No way, dude. These organisers would post extravagant lifestyle photos on their public Instagram. This is Trans Lifeline. Wow, I've got a bit of a problem. I'm a trans woman and I don't feel particularly good looking in the mirror. You cannot be serious, dude. No. What? No. Some callers reported being hung up on. Dude, what the fuck? That's crazy, dude. You won't find any information about this online, no matter which search engine you use. Instead, you will find gushing articles, portfolio websites, Wikipedia entries, and more. I knew Wikipedia was like bad and had problems, but not to that level. That's a whole other fucking kettle of fish. You guys, straight away, there is quite a lot of gendering in this. Some of which I'm just gonna read it as it's written, okay? You can't punish me for that. I don't think. Okay. I don't think you can punish me for that. Here we go. So is that Liz Fong-Jones there? Liz Fong-Jones has got me blocked on Twitter for some reason. Very strange. Could be a bot block thing, but I've mentioned them a couple of times on stream when I've talked about KiwiFarms and some of the stuff they've been up to. Riz wrong roans. What does that mean? Something wrong? Is something wrong? What is it? Okay. Holy fuck. Okay, no, stop it. Stop it. Reads Mein Kampf word for word. Just reading can't buy me for that, right? Well, I don't think there's anything in this that's like, you know, objectionable from a gender perspective. It's just that obviously Josh Moon is, you know, a biology pronoun sayer, you know? He's more of a, I go by what it says in the birth certificate rather than what they say it is. But hey, listen, that's within his rights to do that. I personally go down a different route with it. But it doesn't really matter either way. Let's just read through it. A person's most valuable asset is their reputation, and there's no better place to build one's cachet than online. For this reason, there is a convergence of extreme wealth, power, and influence building up around the backbone of the internet like a cancer. Without immediate organisation and reaction from the atomized groups considering themselves anti-censorship, we will soon live in a less free world with a less open internet where rich and influential people can dictate their own trustworthiness and slander their opposition with impunity. In the 11 years I've managed my forum, the KiwiFarms, I have seen firsthand the power in allowing people to talk about people. Anyone who is permitted to freely share what they'd like about another is enabled to punch far above their own weight. I mean, this is just true, right? Because it sounds so absurd because you're talking about a forum that is laughing originally at fucking some retarded fucking autistic guy, right? But beyond that, yes, correct. Like politicians have been brought down and destroyed by people being able to speak openly about their actions and conduct, you know? When a forum organised like the KiwiFarms hosts stories, media and documents that never go away, it can become a permanent blight on a diligently maintained reputation belonging to surprisingly important people. When that demerit is made on someone rich and well connected, they may dedicate years of their life to trying to erase it. Liz Fong-Jones is a transgender multimillionaire formerly employed by Google, but now involved in at least 2 San Francisco tech startups, Honeycomb and Tall Poppy. His resume and portfolio has been leveraged to try and deplatform the KiwiFarms since 2017. What started with a single email has expanded over 7 years into a conspiracy targeting the most sensitive and important components of what makes up the internet. The story of Liz Fong-Jones trying to take down the KiwiFarms is indicative of what will soon be done to all controversial web content if there is not coordinated effort made to make the internet and the companies which compose it more neutral and accountable. So actually, I've heard about Trans Lifeline before, and I've heard about what's explained in this article and the shit that was going on, right? And I remember it being sort of discussed somewhere, looking at it, hearing about it, but not really understanding it or looking into it in any meaningful way, right? Aren't they the organization that is the precursor to Rainbow Passage? Is it the same thing? Or is it more just a call line? It was Trans Lifeline the organization that was mentioned when people were saying Rainbow Passage is pointless because there's another organization doing it already. Anyway. Did someone just say, is that food shops? No, that is not food. No, that is not food shops. On August 28th, 2017, Liz Fong-Jones used his company's email address to send a complaint. Obviously, that was a long time ago. I don't think they work there anymore. So we're not doxing here. The targeted provider hosted my website's email service. At the time, we used Cloudflare security services, and a common way to bypass Cloudflare was to look at the mail server. Cloudflare does not protect email, and often the unprotected mail server for websites will be the same server or provider as the actual protected web server. Fong-Jones complained we hosted personal information, hoping that this would cause our website to go down. The information in question was about Trans Lifeline, a hotline for transgender people in crisis staffed by transgender volunteers. At the time, Trans Lifeline was operated by Greta Gustava and Nina Chabal. These organizers... Dude. Wait, dude. No way, dude. These organizers would post extravagant lifestyle photos on their public Instagram. Dude, what? Chud worked at Trans Lifeline, highest mortality rate. Hello, this is Trans Lifeline. Wow, I've got a bit of a problem. I'm a trans woman and I don't feel particularly good looking in the mirror. Come on, low-hanging fruit. Come on, dude. I need to play you a clip from the League of Gentlemen later. That was the best trans representation ever. Babs Cabs. Babs Cabs. Nowadays, it would be considered super transphobic, but back then it was just a kind of funny bit, you know? Basically, the local taxi driver is a transgender woman, but is, you know, obviously presents and sounds extremely masculine. Male, 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 male. There's a clip of me that... There's some good clips of me that I see doing the rounds sometimes. The AGB clip, the male clip. Okay. Anyway, let's continue. So anyway, these organisers would post extravagant lifestyle photos on their public Instagrams. Meanwhile, the Trans Lifeline hotline service rarely had anyone online to accept emergency calls. I would have thought Josh Moon would support that, no? Eh? Not enough calls to pick up the phone to the suicidal... You know what's. But no, listen, look. Here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, I think that from what I can tell with Josh Moon, yeah, he's an edgy guy, and yes, he says horrible things, and he's fucking mean and whatever. But I do think he's got quite principled views and positions on things, right? Like, he's got a principled position on free speech, which is why KiwiFarms is run the way that it is. Oh my god, dude. You cannot be serious right now. You cannot be serious, dude! No! What? No! Yes, okay, I've been hoisted by my own petard. I'm taking an L. Yes, I was talking shit about Mutar's chair, and now, oh, funnily enough, my camera's just fucking fucked up because I've not bought a proper camera like I should have done. Yes, very funny. Hubris, moment of hubris. So what I was saying about Josh Moon is I feel like he's a principled guy, and obviously I get that he's fucking... the big boss of transphobes, whatever he says, mean things, sure. But, like, he obviously is concerned with the free speech stuff. And I think he's also quite principled when it comes to charity and shit like that. And I think he tends to go off the standard or principle that if you're, like, raising money for a purpose or your charity, you should be transparent and do the thing that you're trying to do, right? Which is why, even though he is, like, you know, against all the trans shit generally, from what I understand, he is still saying about this, yeah, this is terrible. These people are off spending all this money. Meanwhile, the core part of the service wasn't working. That's an insane thing to happen, you know? Yeah, should I get like a DSLR? Is that the play? Is that the right thing to do? But figuring all that out is going to be ridiculous. Dude, I'm going to look into it, okay? I'm going to look into it. I'm going to professionalize my setup, all right? Going to reinvest in the business. Buy a webcam. Yeah, but, you know, might as well get the proper deal, right? DSLR, you just plug in 1 or 2 cables and you're fine. Okay, okay. Okay, I'll figure it out, guys. Okay, right. Basically, when the YouTube cash hits my account, I'll buy it. Okay, I'll buy it. That'll be on around the 23rd or 24th. I will do research to look at what I'm going to buy in the next couple of days, and I'll just do it. All right. By the end of the month, I'll be streaming on a proper normal camera that I don't have to worry about fucking all this shit. Okay. Buy mirrorless. I'll look into it. I'll do some investigation. A dummy battery. Oh, because if you keep it on charge, it fucks the battery up, right? Okay, I'll look into it. I'm sure there's YouTube videos. Okay. Anyway, look, this is going to be fine for this because we're literally just going to read through this, okay? And you can imagine what I look like reading it, right? The P Diddy segment is going to be the one you need to see my face on because it's going to be good. Right. Anyway, these organized. Okay. This led KiwiFarms users to suspect they were stealing from the charity. So we began documenting both their lifestyle and the hotline's performance or lack thereof. Documents leaked to us by the people who had worked with them showed that there was almost no organization, no internal support structure, and no training. What does that remind you of, guys? I think that Rainbow Passage is probably another one that is likely to have problems based on what we've seen of it so far. Probably, right? I mean, they're talking about fucking scurrying away trans people into a fucking, what is it? Like a campus. They want to do like a campus for trans that they can set up for gays. And eventually maybe even get people under 18 involved. Oh my God, dude. Imagine the smell. What does that mean? As in, okay. If Tipster supports it, okay, Tipster's going to run the campus. What do you mean?
Off depressed people.
Trying to take down KF is cringe, as well as a site desperately holding on to the vestiges of the old internet in the year of our Lord 2024 is cringe.
Thank you for the $5. Okay. I feel like there's this thing that happens where people act like it's just about saying a slur or something like that, right? To me, this is not about just saying slurs, right? This is about saying the internet should not be a place where it's just fucking ran by massive corporations and they're the only ones that get a fucking look in, right? And they get a lot of flexibility with the bad shit that they do because they're so big. You know? Facebook. How much shit gets posted on Facebook that is insane, that probably doesn't get removed as quickly as it should be or get removed at all? Twitter. All of these platforms get massive leeway to fuck things up left, right, and center, but because they're massive, they get away with it. Meanwhile, a fucking tiny site, which is, you know, just documenting retards on the internet, gets this massive fucking attack against it. And it also, all these fucking big tech guys who built their fucking bottom lines off of the free internet don't give two fucks about it. Where was Jack Dorsey's comment about fucking KiwiFarms? Hopefully I'm not wrong and he's actually not said something. I don't know. You know, where was fucking Mark Zuckerberg? These people made money hand over fist building up massive conglomerates off the back of the free internet. And now they're sitting pretty at the top of the pile. They fucking pulled that ladder up rapidly behind them so no one else gets a fucking look in. And then stuff like this happens, they don't fucking care and they don't talk about it, right? These people should be on the front lines defending KiwiFarms, but they don't because it's too controversial. But he should. That's the point. But they pulled the ladder up because they're sitting pretty, aren't they? At the top of the fucking pile now. Oh, it's so infuriating, man. Literal no-name streamers getting featured as reasons for why a multi-billion-dollar website removed a prominent features like disliking. Yeah. Yeah, YouTube removed dislikes because large corporations kept getting dislike bombed and didn't like that, so they used my hate raids as cover to make the change. Right, yeah. Oh my god, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They don't care about some fucking glup shito getting a bunch of dislikes. Oh, we've just released a trailer for a new movie and it's got a lot of dislikes. That looks bad. Can you get rid of it, please? Anyway. Oh my god. Come on, let's just fucking... Okay. Transgender people recruited to TLL to be call agents will be put on the lines to deal with immediately at risk suicidal transgender people with scant information on how to actually help. Is this true? Is this actually what happened? I'm assuming it's documented on a certain forum, right? Some callers reported being hung up on. Dude, what the fuck? That's crazy, dude. Operators reported trauma from having to answer life or death phone calls without any idea of what to do or say. Yeah, I mean, the Samaritans is obviously for anyone, right? But they have to have like quite specialist training to actually be able to handle calls. You can't just fucking go on a call and talk someone down off the ledge. Fucking hell. Years later, and thanks to information made available only on KiwiFarms, they would be ousted from the organization for fraud. Oh, this is all referenced. So there's a reference to this somewhere. Mad at the Internet Trans Lifeline on YouTube is where Noel goes over the entire story in detail. Okay, maybe we'll have a look at that. Trans Lifeline's operators would later file, under penalty of perjury, that Greta and Nina had inured hundreds of thousands of dollars. Fucking hell. Liz Fong-Jones tried to cover this up while it was happening by silencing the only people who were, at this point in time, both aware of and capable of discussing transgender issues in a less than flattering way without being banned. This would begin the long trend of transgender activists saying, ignore the bad things on KiwiFarms, they're made up. Yep, 100% this is a thing. I've heard it myself. Definitely a thing that people do. And then when you actually look at it, you're like, hang on a minute. Yeah, there's a lot of mean words here, but there's an archive link. How can an archive link be wrong? It's just an archive link. It's neutral. It's just documenting information that was at one point on the internet. So you can literally ignore all the commentary and all the mean words and just focus on the archive links, and it's there for the taking. With the punchline being that we'd end up being proven right over time and with damage done that could have been mitigated if we were trusted sooner. It would take Fong-Jones 6 years to admit that Trans Lifeline was a scam at the time he was supporting them. He explains he now only donates money to causes where he can directly influence the way it operates. Liz Fong-Jones should be thanking us, but he still holds a vicious grudge because we reported the abuse of his Google work email. It's necessary to be non-anonymous to the organizations that intermediate you're giving in that intermediate you're giving in order to get a seat at the governance table and ensure that funds are being appropriately spent. That was a very painful lesson I learned from the fiasco that was the early days of Trans Lifeline, where the inexperienced initial board did not meaningfully keep the founders in check, insist on audits, and the major donors, including myself, didn't think to ask for board seats to provide oversight, leading to us all getting defrauded. Fucking hell, man, that's crazy. You'll never hear the story of how KiwiFarms identified fraud in a charity because it is not written about. There is not a single article from a supposedly trustworthy media source about this scandal. There is no single... Is that true? Dude. Isn't Trans Lifeline quite a big org that lots of people have done fundraising for. That's wild. Does it talk about it here? Okay. In November 2016, in response to a Tumblr post accusing Trans Lifeline's founders of embezzlement and harassment, the organisation published an article on their Medium page denying the allegations of embezzlement and explaining the decision directly to confront individuals who they believe facilitate transphobia. However, Shaul Bal and Martello were dismissed by the organisation's board of directors after internal review found they had diverted $353,703 to unapproved personal purchases and side projects. Shaul Bal and Martello were able to repay $8,585 and in June 2018 agreed to mediation with Trans Lifeline in which they would repay the remaining amount over the next 10 years in lieu of lawsuit or other recovery. So you're saying this was pretty much all exposed by KiwiFarms, but they don't get a reference, they don't get a mention. That's crazy, dude. That's fucking insane. Bro, that is... Fuck, really, that is rough. In 2019, the organisation was the recipient of funds. Yeah, I remember some of these. Yeah, Trans Lifeline. Trans Lifeline was a massive thing for a while on Twitch. They used the money to travel to Josh's mum's house to harass him. He was pooping when they showed up. Really? Fucking hell, man. Oh, is this the thing?
Right
Oh, it's quite a
into
long one. Maybe we'll watch that at some point. We'll do a transphobia retrospective, okay? Okay, anyway. That's mental. No journalist in the world can catalogue what the KiwiFarms gets right because the truth is a secondary concern to them, sitting under what is politically expedient. Liz Fong-Jones from Google to Honeycomb. Fong-Jones will continue working at Google for another 2 years. Anonymous reports regarding internal politics within the company where Fong-Jones worked painted a picture of a continuous menace, always looking for new victims to cause problems for. Fong-Jones even finds himself named in the famous James Damore discrimination lawsuit. Oh my god, dude! No way! Do you remember that? James Damore has been vindicated as well. Remember when James Damore came forward and pointed out all the problems at Google of essentially, before it was a concept that we discussed broadly, he talked about how basically Google was woke, to put it simply, and he was massively dismissed. It was at like the height of the bread tube fucking era. And he was massively dismissed and fucking hand-waved away by people. But yet, he was right about a whole bunch of stuff, if I recall correctly. Look at Google now. Discriminatory post made on internal Google forums. This is a pretty good article about the walking on eggshells effect as actually experienced by people of colour, of being afraid to point out racial stressors for fear of being lumped as oversensitive, and of needing to phrase things to be palatable and not trigger defensiveness. The sugar-coated language of white fragility. Oh my god, man. White fragility was an absolutely insane concept, right? That recognised, yeah, sometimes phrasing stuff in certain ways can make people feel a bit bothered or upset, right? But acted like it was wrong of the people to get bothered and upset when some of the things that were just fucking obnoxious, just obnoxious concepts. Cause of racial stress, suggesting that a white person's viewpoint comes from a racialized frame of reference. Effect on aspect of white identity, challenge to objectivity. Cracker ass take, I believe, is a recent example of that. Cracker ass take, suggesting a white person's viewpoint comes from a racialized frame of reference. Bro, the fact how racist this shit was, dude, is insane. Stuff that you would not ever be able to say about another fucking race, but totally A-okay if it comes to white people, not a problem. Yeah, you can say that a white person only thought of something because they're fucking white, and not because they thought about it beyond that. Oh my god, dude. People of colour talking directly about their own racial perspectives. Challenge to white taboos on talking openly about race. People of colour choosing not to protect the racial feelings of white people in regards to race. That's pretty fucking rich. When us whites have got to do everything to protect the blacks or any minority from anything we say. We can't, microaggressions. Microaggressions is something that's really bad that you should avoid. Not so with white people. Don't worry about protecting the racial feelings of white people. Say whatever the fuck you want. People of colour not being willing to tell their stories or answer questions about their racial experiences. The whites can take it, guys. Whites have got... Okay, anyway, come on. He claims to have resigned in 2019 after the Google walkout protest he helped to organise. Insiders reported that Google does not give severances unless you are asked to quit. This indicates that Fong-Jones was likely paid to leave as opposed to his claims he resigned. Trying to fire a person in such a politically protected category, especially when they are litigious and disruptive as Fong-Jones is, would cost more than the $90,000 he was given just to go away. What's this? The boycott and these comments are being orchestrated by Liz Fong-Jones. Liz Fong-Jones is a transsexual activist and an offender in sexual harassment themselves. I'm posting this on a throwaway for obvious reasons. I worked at Google from 2010. Is this a YouTube video? No, I'm here. I'm here. Don't worry, guys. I feel like you guys have got object permanence issues. You're like a baby. Like if someone walks out of the room, you think they don't exist anymore. I worked at Google from 2010 to 2014. Over the summer of 2012 or 2013, I joined an EVE Online cooperation guild with Liz and another one of my co-workers. It was a crazy place. Liz had a fanatical hatred of rape jokes. Okay. Rape was not a joke to Liz. Rape was a Okay, this is a bit much, isn't it? Rape was a fantasy that Liz was all too happy to describe in great detail. The corporation was kink-friendly. Is this Google? Oh, no, this is EVE Online Corporation. Oh, no, this is about EVE Online. Although Google is probably kink-friendly too. I'm embarrassed to say that was part of the appeal to me. I'm happy to tie up my girlfriends up as part of the roleplay. Liz's fantasies are a great deal more detailed and a great deal less fantasy-orientated than I would like. I left that corporation after a while, though not as quickly as I should have. I was young, I was confused, and based on the success of a Real Names Considered Harmful letter, I believe that Liz was a credible, accredited leader. The same co-worker who introduced me to Liz would, several times, invite me to join them for lunch at Club Z. I declined. Partially because something seemed off, mostly because I was satisfied with the lunches at Google. I would later find out that Club Z is not a lunch place, it's a rather infamous gay bathhouse here in Seattle. Right? Oh my god, no way! What? Goon Gox at Google. That seems a bit inappropriate. Yeah, the thing is, I've been there. Yeah. No, I haven't been there. What do you mean? I don't go to gay bathhouses. What are you on about? You guys have lost it. You genuinely think I'm going to a gay bathhouse in my spare time? Oh my god, man. While I was in that corp, though, I was sexually assaulted. While I was in that corp, though, I was sexually assaulted by a former friend. About a year about a year, I knew and had considered a friend had some out as bi and had confessed their love to me by forcefully kissing me at a party. I was embarrassed, I was not interested, and I made it pretty politely clear, to which they reacted badly. Is this about Liz Fong-Jones? Is this the consent accident story? Now they had come out as trans and received an outpouring of support from my mutual friends. Said friends convinced me to give them another chance. Oh, it's about someone else, is it? Okay. At their urging, I agreed to hang out with this friend at a movie night. A movie night which no one else showed up to. Said former friend pressured me to try weed, which I've never done before. Okay, red flag. I was dumb and I regret it. Said friend offered to show me his uncle's stash of child pornography. What? What? Sorry, what? I was already suspected they were a pedo, but yeah. Should have run right then, was drunk. Said friend then tried to force himself on me. I'm not bigger, but I am strong, and I forced them off. I was also drunk and spent several uncomfortable hours waiting to sober up, repeatedly fending off unwanted advances. Yeah, this... dude, this... Oh, it's an alt account. It just comes across as very extreme. But let's read on. You know, obviously, very difficult for me to just be like, yeah, this definitely happened. But let's continue on. Anyway, being dumb, having listened to too much of the bullshit excuses, I went to the only trans person I knew to talk about it, Liz. They told me how much I was in the wrong, how important it was for trans people to explore their sexuality, and called me a monster for not having responded positively. What if a biological woman had hit on you? I do not have any direct evidence of wrongdoing by Liz Fong-Jones. I only know that they hang out with and are supported by people who are long overdue for censure, people who are repeatedly able to convince others they were the victims despite their clear aggression. Okay. Okay, continuing on. During his employment with Google, he had acquired cryptocurrency and stake in the company. It is assumed that Fong-Jones' net worth is in the millions. Really? Indeed, Fong-Jones has stated he has an interest in finance and wants to make wealth building a part of his career. After leaving Google, he joined tech startup Honeycomb as Chief Field Technology Officer. Honeycomb is a business-to-business software company that sells solutions directly to major tech companies such as Dropbox and Slack. Video game companies including CCP, EVE Online, and Behavior, Dead by Daylight, and finance companies like Vanguard, which is one of the largest investment firms in the world. Okay. Honeycomb is extremely progressive and has stood by Liz Fong-Jones for years, even after he inexplicably announced to the world in November 2019 that he had been credibly accused of sexual assault, which he chooses to refer to as a consent accident. Okay, I've seen this one before, but I'm quiet. Hello? Test? Consent accidents do occasionally happen. It's part of the risk-aware consensual kink. And I think that when they do happen, we need to be able to understand what happened rather than lashing out or blanket just denying that anything happened, both of which suck. Okay. It's not a video. I'm here. I'm here, guys. Don't worry. Consent accidents do occasionally happen. It's part of the risk-aware consensual kink. And I think that when they do, we need to be able to understand what happened rather than lashing out or blanket just denying what happened, both of which suck. Fucking hell, dude. That's crazy. Liz Fong-Jones explaining how he was accused of rape, downplaying his misunderstanding about dog hair. You won't find any information about this online, no matter which search engine you use. Instead, you will find gushing articles, portfolio websites, Wikipedia entries, and more, talking about what a successful, important person Fong-Jones is. How can someone accused of rape simply walk away from this without any progressive organisations around them caring? Fucking hell, okay. I'll be back soon, guys, don't worry. Don't you worry about it, okay? Chill. Search engine optimization is one of Liz Fong-Jones's other personal interests, as he enjoys a perfectly pedicured digital footprint. He is an investor and board member of Tall Poppy, a reputation management company. What is this? This company is also business to business and advertises itself as proactive action.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Pre-recorded stream plus boring plus fence sitting plus dead air plus fat.
Thank you very much, Puddle Saga, for the $5. The company is also business to business and advertises itself as a proactive action against online harassment and personal security threats. The name comes from an expression in Australia and New Zealand and means that successful people get unfairly criticised. The tall people get cut down. I've never heard this before. This is brand new information for me. They have a decent list of investors and advisors with two names jumping out. Y Combinator is invested in them. Y Combinator is the forum which has hosted the negative post about Liz Fong-Jones quoted in this article. This post now exists with Liz Fong-Jones' name completely redacted, a change which was documented between 23rd of May and 15th of September 2023, about 4 years after it was originally created. Inner Loop Capital is also interesting, as Tall Poppy is outside the usual. Okay, this is a bit in depth for me personally. What's going on here? What is this? Tall Poppy boasts its customer list, which includes large companies like Spotify, viciously litigated associations.
Alex White became a member.
Okay. I'm doing the I'm reading meme, okay?
Okay, that's wonderful.
Let's just fuck it. Come on. This seems important. It's linked to big companies. Twitch included. Twitch is in there.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money
off
depressed people? Budapest Street became
viciously
a member.
Viciously organized the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America, NGOs like the Global Disinformation Index, and Amazon's extremely influential streaming platform, Twitch.
Commodore Chomp became a member.
Okay. They have received glowing endorsements from Ellen Powell, former CEO of Reddit, Anna Sarkeesian of Gamergate fame, Catherine Mayer, former CEO of Wikimedia, and Liz Lee, who has been involved with Twitter and Morgan Stanley, one of the most powerful wealth management organizations in the US. Okay. So basically, Tall Poppy is a reputation management company, and they help you have a digital footprint that doesn't include your controversies, and they've got connections to these big companies, and then they've also got these baddies that are also linked to it, right? That makes sense, right? That's right, isn't it? Ellen Powell was interim CEO for Reddit in 2015. She was the head of the company when it decided to ban r/fat people hate. Reddit traditionally had a policy of tolerating free speech, even when upsetting. It may be hard to believe, considering the state of Reddit today, but this was a very unpopular decision. Ellen Powell was even forced to couch these reforms in language like, "We're banning behavior, not ideas." Is that true that Reddit used to be more tolerating of free speech? That's crazy to think about now, isn't it? There were many changes she made, all unpopular. Her stay at Reddit was very brief. She was removed and Reddit apologized, saying they'd make things right. This never happened. It was clear that Powell was hired to make sweeping changes, setting the stage for the new Reddit moving forward, then step aside during the outrage so that she would take the fall. Not a single policy Ellen Powell implemented was ever reversed by Reddit's corporate, and they have since been compounded and expanded upon. Ellen Powell married an openly gay black man. Okay, wait a second. The gay part I understand, because I'm assuming that Ellen Powell is, a woman, right? What has the fact he's black got to do with anything, though? Really? What is that? What the fuck is that about, dude? But has been going through a divorce since 2019. Details on this divorce are hard to come by online. It raises questions as to what exactly Ellen Powell has been paying for. Catherine Mayer was former Wikimedia CEO and the current CEO of NPR. She is an avid ideologue whose reputation is so incredibly poisonous that a position of the Signal Foundation has raised serious concerns if the beloved privacy app Signal is fundamentally compromised. The direct connection helps explain how Liz Fong-Jones is able to generate significant positive press for himself and is permitted to cry. Oh my god! This is the fucking Wikipedia stuff that I referenced earlier. And is permitted to craft narratives on Wikipedia articles he is directly affected by and has incredible conflicts of interest with, including for his company Honeycomb and for the KiwiFarms. His contributions are made by suggestion only via the talk pages, but since he is direct friends with the Wikipedia admins who manage these pages, they are always included in as favourable light to him as possible. Wikipedia is supposed to be a free and open platform for cataloguing the knowledge of mankind. Catherine states here that this is no longer useful, and that free and open perpetuates a white male westernized construct and is exclusionary to communities without written tradition. These ideas of radical openness do not live up to the intention.
I started by talking about the idea of free and open as some of our founding principles, sort of free and open source coming from the idea of the open source community. Well, I have come to the opinion and the perspective that free and open was a way of looking at the world that was inherently limited relative to what we were trying to achieve. Free and open has the best of intentionality, but in the end, what free and open often ended up doing, and particularly in the case of Wikipedia, was really recapitulating many of the same power structures and dynamics that exist offline prior to the advent of the internet. And so what we ended up seeing was Wikipedia really rebuilt this idea of knowledge as a whole around what the Western canon. You see the
Bro. I didn't know any of this. And then, huh? What? That's mental. Also, there's different versions of Wikipedia. There's like foreign language Wikipedias, which have articles which I don't even think like, you know, sometimes you click on a Wikipedia thing and it takes you to the fucking Spanish one and it doesn't actually have an English equivalent, right? Free and open actually means closed and exclusionary. Am I overstating to say literally George Orwell 1984? I don't think so. Fuck me, dude. This is absolutely insane to hear someone representative of Wikipedia saying this.
Exclusion of communities, of languages, because of the ways in which Wikipedia is based on reliable sources. The idea of a written tradition is something that is particular to
oh wait, there's another one.
The idea of a written tradition, which is particular to some cultures and not to others. The ways in which we ascribe notability often really comes from sort of this white male westernized construct around who matters in societies and who is elevated and whose voices. And so some of these ideas of sort of this radical openness really did not end up with the intention, really did not end up living into the intentionality of what openness can be.
What? Did you guys know about that before? That's the first time I've ever heard that being expressed to... Oh, dude, that's insane. That's the person that represents Wikipedia. I knew Wikipedia was like bad and had problems, but not to that level. That's a whole other fucking kettle of fish. Not one example provided of who is excluded, just generalities and buzzwords, yeah? Wikipedia is by no measure a free and open platform. You are only permitted to edit Wikipedia using specific IP addresses, meaning anyone concerned about their privacy may not edit Wikipedia. Since Wikipedia admins and Wikimedia C-level executives may be friends with people trying to ruin your life, this necessitates de-anonymizing yourself to hostile actors to even create an account. Then you will discover that almost every important Wikipedia page is under special protections, especially controversial pages like the KiwiFarms, living people such as Liz Fong-Jones, and his companies like Honeycomb. You need a certain level of reputation within the Wikipedia community to even attempt editing these pages. Protected and high-risk pages like the KiwiFarms are watched for changes by hundreds of bureaucrats continuously. Your edits will be critically scrutinized. Was the edits of Liz Fong-Jones and his personal Wikipedia admin friends will pass with rubber stamps. Is this... What the fuck, dude? This is like a fucking... This is like 1984. Yes, it is. It sounds like that. Is this true? I want to believe. I want to believe. I don't know. It just sounds too crazy to be true. Tell me, chat. Be honest with me. Is this real? One major reason your edits may be reverted is for original research. Original research is anything extrapolated from a primary resource. This includes government websites and the KiwiFarms itself, if you're writing about the KiwiFarms. This part I'm familiar with. Maybe not to the extent, but I at least know the vibe of this part, right? This actually does fit in really nicely with what we were talking about earlier. What Wikipedia likes is secondary resources from trusted publications. Trusted publications are explicitly whitelisted news media websites. KiwiFarms users in 2022 asked Wikipedia to start being impartial on the subject and stop trusting biased news articles. This prompted 10-year Wikipedia veteran editor Bill Orv to state, if Wikipedia had existed when expert consensus was that the Earth is flat, then we would have asserted that position as fact. Wait, hang on. But he's saying that's a bad thing. He's saying that he's saying that would be a problem. Or is he saying this is the policy of Wikipedia and this is what we would have happened if that was... Fucking hell, dude. The men who burned Giordano Bruno at the stake for discrediting geocentrism now write for Wikipedia. At least Bruno's executioners got paid. Bill Rov's 38,828 edits were made to Wikipedia for free, purely for self-satisfaction and ego. So in practice, Mer's revolutionary not free and not open Wikipedia means that any wealthy technocrat may buy fluff pieces from legacy news websites and can request these articles be added to Wikipedia articles by their admin friends, specifically to accomplish political goals. I mean, this is what happened with Keffels, right? So Keffels put out press statements, press releases, and newspapers didn't do their due diligence and just repeated what the press releases said without looking into it. And then you create, like I said earlier, a kind of collage of various different news articles saying something about something that's come from one side of the argument, and then that gets added to Wikipedia, and boom, that's then fact. It's on Wikipedia. Boom. Well, Keffels has actually had a negative. We saw it earlier on the page. They've had the thing added, the update with the Mutar video and TYT. Yeah, he's saying the general consensus, even if wrong, will be stated as fact on Wikipedia. Right, I see. Okay. But then that is a problem, isn't it? Because that doesn't mean it's true. So, but that then means that you can't say that what is on Wikipedia is true, right? Because it's not a statement. It's, you're looking at bad information. No, sure. Obviously, you can argue that it's the correct thing for Wikipedia to do based on the thing. But then, obviously, you can't look at something on Wikipedia and say that is a fact, which is why it's important that you must go and look at all the sources and see and, go from there, right? But too often people will point to Wikipedia in and of itself and say Wikipedia is fine. But you shouldn't do that. You should go and look at the sources and stuff, right?
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Chud became a member. Chud celebrates 9 months of membership. The ex-co-founder of Wikipedia appeared on the Side Scrollers podcast a couple of weeks ago and he confirmed all of this Wikipedia shenanigans.
Really? Thank you for the membership. Appreciate it. Okay. Anyway, let's continue. So in practice, Mayer's revolutionary, not free and not open Wikipedia means that any wealthy technocrat may buy fluff pieces from legacy... Oh, we read that bit already. Incidentally, the Wikipedia page for the KiwiFarms is nothing but sloppy accusations, citing articles which contain no evidence themselves. Whatever the news writes becomes the truth, and the news writes what Liz Fong-Jones tells them to write. He is often directly contributing to the news article, or is the subject of favourable interviews with these publications, which he then personally passes through to Wikipedia admins to complement and grow articles in the directions he pleases. Wikipedia's true power comes in its presence on search engines. It is almost always the first result of any search, that's true. Its contents are fed into the info box summaries found in search results. Yes! How many times have you seen this? You search for something on Google and the first result is an explanation of what that is. And it's from Wikipedia. And its data is accepted uncritically by AI chatbots. If I ask Google Gemini to describe the KiwiFarms in a sentence, it tells me a controversial web forum known for its users' online harassment and stalking campaigns against various individuals and communities. Oh, dude. Known for its users' online harassment, when harassment is actually against the rules of the forum. Bro, that's crazy. Yeah, look. Despite he says here, despite the KiwiFarms having explicit and enforced rules against contacting people off-site, i.e. harassment. To the average person, Wikipedia is the truth, and whatever is written on Wikipedia is what will be believed. Liz Fong-Jones' reputation management looks like this. Crafts a media narrative of contacts in the press. Quick point on this. Didn't Keffels work closely with Liz Fong-Jones as part of the Drop KiwiFarms campaign? Weren't they buddied up and teaming up to take KiwiFarms down? Because if you look at Keffels' actions, this could easily describe Keffels' actions. So it seems pretty obvious that Keffels got in with fucking Liz Fong-Jones and learnt about how to do this from Liz Fong-Jones, right? Crafts a media narrative with contacts in the press. Cements this narrative as publicly held truth using his Wikipedia contacts. Sends link to these articles directly to ISPs himself as proof of abuse. Remove from search results or the internet completely any upsetting pages. So yeah, I mean yeah. Obviously, I don't know if Keffels is doing it to this level, but certainly, crafts a media narrative of contacts in the press and then cements this narrative as publicly held truth using Wikipedia. Yes, this is definitely something that Keffels did. In this way, he can prove criminal behavior through a line of reputable sources, despite no actual evidence for criminal behavior because no criminal behavior exists. This works both to harm websites like mine and to his benefit in crafting his and his company's reputation to his liking. It works especially well because he's very low profile and not known outside of his fields, where there is no political crossfire to hold Wikipedia accountable. Right, yeah, sure. So there's certain things which can generate a press discussion or something like that, but with this, the press is all against KiwiFarms, pro Liz Fong, not knowing about Liz Fong fucking Jones. Yeah, I understand. Fucking hell, man. Fuck. This is pretty scary shit, dude. Fong-Jones was doing all the media work and was the one who crafted Keffels' media team. It was all Fong-Jones. Dude. Oh my god, dude, this is insane! No way! Fong-Jones was pulling the levers. Is Fong-Jones Jewish by any chance? It works especially... Okay. Instead, the only voice identifying this behavior is the KiwiFarms, which has already been thoroughly maligned. This email from Blake Willis... Chud, I don't think I'm in a conspiracy movie, Toby Fox. I know you're just a troll. I know you're a retarded troll. But, I mean, this stuff is pretty crazy, This email from Blake Willis of Zio Paris exemplifies the trust in Wikipedia and the power of Liz Fong-Jones' connections within the industry. I must stress that the decision to terminate internet services at the level suggested in this email exchange is unheard of. This is the equivalent of the power company cutting off an abortion clinic or coal mine because they're too controversial. A mere 10 years ago, a decision like this would have been completely unthinkable. Blake Willis wrote, if I may suggest a course of action, ASAP, someone with official social media access should follow up Liz de Grey's post that we're investigating the matter internally. In parallel, they should be informed of AUP violations and their services disconnected thereafter. This is a DIN question. Thanks again for your attention. So yeah, this is in the midst of the campaign, right? Zayo seems to have sold IP transit and DDoS protection to KiwiFarms. This is who they are and what they do. Look, what's this? A link to dropkiwifarms.net. So just a complete one-sided account of what it is, going into absurd detail and claiming things that aren't even necessarily true about the site. Oh yeah, this is what they do, guys. Not even a link to the website itself to go and look and see what it does and poke around a bit. Nope. Here's what the worst enemies of this site are saying about it. Several of my industry colleagues have escalated this to me tonight as I pack my suitcase to fly to Belgrade early tomorrow for next week's RITE meeting, where the issue will certainly come up. Cloudflare finally terminated their services last month for AUP violations. So at the moment, Zayo is their primary internet service provider. The account in question is 1776 Solutions, run by Joshua Moon. See, what's crazy? Yeah, I mean, like, these are presumably powerful individuals discussing behind the scenes ways in which they can justify taking down a legally run website in the US, right? This is pretty crazy. And if you're concerned about internet freedom and shit like that, this should be stuff that you're like, this is wrong and this shouldn't be happening, even if you don't like KiwiFarms. This is generating a large amount of negative attention for us on social media, as well as copious abuse tickets. I wonder who was filing those. For both AUP violations as well as increased risk to Zayo's own infrastructure, both cybersecurity as well as potential volumetric DDoS attacks against KiwiFarms on our own infrastructure, this customer should be informed of AUP violations and terminated immediately. Blake Willis, Network Architecture for Zayo Europe. And this is all because of fucking Liz Fong-Jones spiking the ball, essentially. Fucking hell. Mental. Here we go. Dude. Yo, now we're getting into the stuff we know about. Based. This is a really good article. I'm very impressed with this. Drop KiwiFarms. The censors are taking notes. Why'd you keep going after journalists? Because journalists are scumbags. With very rare exception. Journalists are disgusting freaks who, you know... There is a history of like good investigative journalists and stuff like that I'm all for that, okay? But not anymore. There's all these fucking shitters, basically. Do you remember that guy that wore a t-shirt on an airplane that talked about hanging journalists and he got kicked off or something? Starting to think again about that, dude. And all that stuff. I do need to be careful, you're right. Okay. There is a sentiment I want to overcome. That KiwiFarms, as only a moderate-sized niche community that is oftentimes mean-spirited, does not effectively act as a canary in the coal mine for the broader internet. I will demonstrate that the lessons being learned from this meddling are testing a broader strategy applicable to all. In 2022, after disgraced fraudster Clara Keffel Sorrenti would falsely claim the KiwiFarms had orchestrated a swatting of his domicile in Canada, Liz Fong-Jones would lend his talents to try and finally destroy the KiwiFarms. Oh, this is what you were just mentioning. This included Liz Fong-Jones appearing in person in Sydney to protest Cloudflare, which provided security services to us. The idea was that by getting our security service to abandon us, we would be opened up to illegal cybersecurity attacks that would bring us down. It worked, and very powerful people took notice. Liz Fong-Jones hoped to achieve total censorship of a community made up of tens of thousands of users. His efforts and his achievements are now being used as proof of concept for academic research. If Liz Fong-Jones succeeds, the model he is constructing will be applied to easier targets than the KiwiFarms. I also stress that the KiwiFarms has been unusually flexible and able to resist deplatforming, in no small part because I, as an individual, am very unusual. Most people would have had the good sense to quit and abandon their projects well before it gets to the point it has with KiwiFarms. This is doubly true for websites which must operate cash positive as a successful business, whereas the KiwiFarms lives off cryptocurrency donations, a privilege unique to dedicated communities with very tech-savvy users. Liz Fong-Jones personally gave a presentation at Cambridge concisely detailing his own efforts to deplatform the KiwiFarms at every conceivable technical level. What? That's insane. Shouldn't this be illegal? And they're getting to talk about it at fucking Cambridge. We circumvented the law to try and take down a website. I'm going to speak about it at a university because it's based actually. Shockingly, the most effective targets were the most important to the broader internet, such as T1 internet backbone company Cogent, based out of DC, who to this day will block any of their own customers who allow the KiwiFarms to use them. I think even Liz Fong-Jones was surprised at how quickly the internet backbones began censoring at his request, because it took months for him to even try. Once he realized they would do what he asked, it became his go-to strategy. Why bother with the smaller, conscientious companies at the bottom when you can threaten to kneecap their entire business out of the gate with top-down censorship? The following Cambridge academic paper was released, which directly follows the deplatforming efforts made against the KiwiFarms. Interestingly, it also follows the impact on user numbers and post-participation in the community using publicly available data. It accurately details how post rates slowed due to low availability. For instance, while we were almost always available on Tor, many users chose not to download special browsers to continue accessing the forum. Cambridge sees that as a win. Okay. COVID pandemic. Look at this. ISP blackholing in August 2020. Industry disruption in late 2022. And it drops off. Fucking hell, man. The figure is extrapolated over a very nice timeline figure that outlines precisely the long-lasting, enduring attacks made at every level of infrastructure, including illegal attacks aimed at putting the site offline by directly compromising our software.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I
Thank
make
you
money off depressed
for the $10.
The individual was involved in the group who initiated the network backbone blackholing of website as well until it was discovered to be a speech violation censorship, not a safety/security.
Thank you for the $10. Major incidents disrupting KiwiFarms. And sorry, this is being presented as part of like like this is a positive. Look at how we took this website down. This is like fucking backwards land, man. They should be in fucking prison for this. A legally fucking run website that's within US law, and you circumvented that to take it down, which was relied upon DDoS attacks, which are illegal. This is internet terrorism, dude. Cloudflare stopped service. DDoS guard terminated service. Internet Archive and HCapture dropped from the forum. KiwiFarms is stopped. 10th of September 2022. So yeah, you can. So basically, you do something which relies on an illegal act. What's it like? It's like you're not breaking into a store in the middle of the night to steal a bunch of stuff, but you force a store. You basically make it so that the people that installed the shutters come and take them away. And then when they get robbed in the middle of the night, and some of the people that are robbing them, and you're pushing them to do that, you can just be like, well, it's nothing to do with us. But you made the company take the shutters away. Well, what does it matter? We didn't actually do the robbing, did we? So, let me go and do a speech about how we got people to remove the shutters from stores, which led to a spate of robberies. But actually, it was good. Like, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking of is what it was like. Jesus Christ. It's shameful that this is like, this was not only allowed and no illegal stuff happened, but this was celebrated and people cheered this on. Fucking hell. Use the Cloudflare argument. It's like preventing the fire department from servicing a building. Right, okay, that's simpler and easier. Yeah. Okay. DM Wall terminated service. KiwiFarms.top is stopped. All domains stopped, including dark web, possible data breach. First recovery, the forum was back online. Password reset recommended for 27 September. The dark web forum is back. Network level DDoS attacks. I love the way that they include these. Oh yeah, they had some network level DDoS attacks. As if it's like not at least some people that they're associated with doing it, right? Like there's no... Like I know that there's lots of people that probably would have done DDoS attacks against KiwiFarms. But it's undeniable that there was at least some of them that were associated with Liz Fong-Jones and Keffels and stuff. And they were probably told, right, okay, switch it on. Right, we got the fucking DDoS protection dropped. Start the DDoS attacks. Boom, DDoS, DDoS, DDoS. Zio's block, all domains were down, including the dark web. Second recovery. DDoS attacks. Here. ISP black holing, DDoS attacks. Fucking hell, man. Crazy. Is it some kind of conspiracy? Yeah. I mean, conspiracy's got like a bad word, but it's undeniable that people conspired in the situation to make stuff happen, right? I mean, people are back up here. People conspiring behind the scenes to take a fucking website down, right? Okay. Anyway, let's continue. Dude, this is wild. I'm glad this has all been laid out because I've heard about this in bits and pieces, but didn't understand a lot of it. But now it's a lot clearer. Liz Fong-Jones specifically shared a script on their Twitter for attackers to bypass the KiwiFarms self-made DDoS protections. Really? Many are caught up in a moral panic where they really believe any action is justified if done to protect trans feelings. They'll give away a free and open internet so their gender feelings aren't hurt. I mean... No. Okay. The figure is described every 99 times. Outlines precisely the long-lasting enduring attacks made at every level of infrastructure, including illegal attacks aimed at putting the site offline by directly compromising our software. The KiwiFarms is so central to these researchers and their work, they have appeared on a cybercrime podcast, Hacking Out, to discuss the KiwiFarms, albeit indirectly. They've also delivered this report to the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers just this year. The IEEE is an incredibly important organisation whose members decide international standards for technological development. It works together with and has significant membership crossover with the Internet Engineering Task Force. These groups publish RFCs proposing changes to how the internet works. Liz Fong-Jones and his friends in academia would hope to persuade the IEEE and IETF to make the entire world smaller, more centrally organised, more brittle and easy to break apart. These changes could be implemented at a technical level so innate to how the internet works, it would be almost impossible to explain to a layman what has even happened. Yes, true. Very true. And the problem is as well is so many people are not going to care about it anyway, because as long as they can get Facebook on their fucking device, that's it. Oh, I can pick up my phone and look at Facebook. What do I care about this? Fucking hell, man. The Cambridge study is oriented to persuade important engineers they must break the internet so that mean websites can effectively be removed everywhere. And these studies are being made off where Liz Fong-Jones is currently failing to bring down the KiwiFarms. Their political pressures conflict with the First Amendment, as we do nothing illegal. Now they apply pressures inside academics, corporations, and trade organizations to instead circumvent our rights. Yes. Okay. Yeah, by the time we finish this, I should be back on my camera and we'll do the P. Diddy stuff. So just sit back and relax. We're going to get there. We're going to get back to some black criminality, guys. All right? Don't you worry about it. Liz Fong-Jones sued Vincent Zen, the owner of Flow Chemical Pty Limited in Australia, for 400,000 Australian dollars for defamation. To demonstrate how insane this is, I will chart the distance between Vincent and the posts which Liz Fong-Jones alleges defame him. Vincent, an Australian, owns Flow Chemical, an Australian company. Flow Chemical has IP addresses through APNIC, an Australian non-profit. Flow Chemical leases some IP addresses to 1776 Solutions in Wyoming. A Floridian, owns 1776 Solutions. 1776 Solutions LLC has provided service to my other company, Lolcow LLC. Lolcow LLC owns the KiwiFarms assets and licenses for posts. Users of the KiwiFarms, who are mostly American, made posts about LFJ. LFJ alleges these posts are both untrue and defamatory. Do you know what that is? That's a way to circumvent American law, which says that you cannot file defamation suits against American citizens in another country. Because there was this issue where people would try to file a defamation suit against an American in, a country where it's more flexible, and they had to put a stop to that because it's like, obviously you need to file it in America because they should be held to American standards of defamation. That's mental. So they've come up with this insane fucking process for which to file a defamation suit against material which is on KiwiFarms for some random fucking person for a company in Australia that has got very tenuous links to it. Dude, this is insane, bro! This should be in the news. This should be discussed and talked about widely. This should be something that all the big tech people should be pointing to and going, this is wrong. Shameful. Therefore, the courts believe Vincent personally owes $500,000. I know Vinny and speak to him maybe 4 times a year on average. We live in different continents and completely different time zones, and it is hard to maintain a friendship over that sort of distance. As a result, Vincent knows almost nothing about the KiwiFarms or what I do, and has no say in how I use the IP addresses I pay for. In affidavit supplied to Australian court, Liz Fong-Jones has promised under penalty of perjury that these IP addresses are critical to the KiwiFarms operation, uptime, and most importantly, ability to deliver mean posts about him to the worldwide internet. We have not used these IP addresses in a year and only used them publicly for less than a year. How critical these IP addresses are can be easily determined by the fact that KiwiFarms remains available to the worldwide internet and that we do not use any Flow Chemical IP addresses in doing so. It would be accurate to say that we enjoy more uptime without using Vinny's IP addresses due to very technical reasons that Liz Fong-Jones has learned to exploit. Broadly, how to complain to ISPs and get entire networks removed from the internet. Vinny is very stubborn. He trusted the government to recognise the flagrantly spurious and fallacious nature of these accusations and dismiss them on his own, sua sponte. He also is a busy person who has better things to do with his time and money than be sued by a lunatic. I continually advised him against inaction, perhaps once a month every month, until he was guilty by default. Fucking hell. So he didn't respond to it and was found guilty by default, hoping the government would just overturn it. He is working on the slow and expensive process of overturning the default. The real victory of this judgment is that Liz Fong-Jones can now pretend it says the KiwiFarms is illegal and or create civil liabilities for its hosts. Indeed, it has appeared in numerous articles published by the usual suspect who tend to polish Liz Fong-Jones, and these articles have somehow found their way to the KiwiFarms Wikipedia page, despite zero direct involvement between KiwiFarms and Flow Chemical or Vincent. Liz Fong-Jones is nothing if not incredibly spiteful. The money and resources he's required are merely tokens for him to purchase human misery. This is so eye-opening, man. I'm glad I read this on stream. Fuck, dude. This is criminal. This is insane. And yep, there it is. Defamation lawsuit. Article published in The Guardian. Developer advocate Liz Fong-Jones brought a defamation case. The lawsuit alleged that the company was helping KiwiFarms, which has doxed and targeted her. And the lawsuit alleged that the company... It's crazy! This is wrong! Was helping KiwiFarms. Look, read... The lawsuit alleged that the company was helping to keep KiwiFarms, which has doxed and targeted her and other LGBT people online. This is written by some woke retard, clearly. Oh, sorry. I'm getting a bit much of this. Because Flow Chemical and Zen did not defend his case, an interlocutory judgment has been made against him in July 23. On October 2023, they were ordered to pay Fong-Jones $445,000 plus costs. Yeah, that is idiotic to not fight that. You've got to fight that. Fucking hell. The anti-censors are falling flat. Oh. Yo, I can tell already he's going to have a fucking base take on this. I can tell already, guys, he's going to be based. I can tell already. Where is it? Last month, Sony released a video game called Stellar Blade to the PS5, which had featured a protagonist in a very revealing clothing, which the developers had promised would not be modified when released to the West. Sony did end up tailoring our outfits to be less revealing, and this decision prompted outrage. A petition to undo this cosmetic defect accrued 84,000 signatures in 2 weeks. This is something I've been thinking about recently as well, about Stellar Blade. But nothing's happened. Stellar Blade's petition is the largest outcry against censorship in recent memory, and it has so far failed to get Sony's decision reversed. This failure highlights to me what I believe should be obvious. Public outcry and petitions do not get things done. Money does. Whatever moneyed power convinced Sony to make these changes outweighs the perceived economic threat of gamers promising not to buy their game. Wait! This is actually wrong. Because part of the fucking boycott was that they said, no, still buy the game, but just cancel your PlayStation subscription, but still buy the game. What a fucking insane thing. Buy the game, let them know you don't like it by buying the game and cancelling your PlayStation subscription. I mean, it's fine. I've just obviously looked at it quite a bit, so this isn't really about the thing. But it's just funny to think that, you know, such an ineffective way to go about it. It's even more ineffective than Josh is pointing out here. The anti-censors rallied around the cause en masse, no doubt thanks to how easy it is to complain on social media and sign a petition. Meanwhile, there is a vine of thorns wrapping around the esophagus of the internet. Our ability to communicate is at risk of being destroyed, and the people who intend to destroy them have networked an obscene amount of wealth and power without being noticed. Indeed, the moneyed powers actively working to destroy the internet find themselves intertwined with supposedly anti-censorship entities without trouble. For instance, the closest thing to institutional power online for anti-censorship is Rumble, which has recently started a cloud service that consists of a single data center, a single ISP, Cogent, and a single security service, Path. Rumble highlights, in particular, the anti-censor's total and complete inability to learn lessons from other anti-censors. I've personally attempted to communicate to Rumble by email to CEO Chris Pavlovsky and to the head of product, Rich Rosella, the imminent and urgent danger that relying solely on Cogent and Path presents to the companies and all of their customers. Cogent has taken unprecedented, deranged steps to stop the KiwiFarms from being able to operate, including threatening to disconnect entire data centers in Poland for allowing us to continue to host there. The decisions to prohibit the KiwiFarms and my company 1776 Solutions from operating on Cogent networks come from the very top. 2 separate sales representatives from Cogent have confirmed to me that a C-level decision was made to stop me from acquiring a hookup with them. I've attempted to call in on Cogent investor meetings during public Q&A and was screened out of the caller pool. I stress that even a few years ago, a Tier 1 ISP making waves to try and censor online content would have been international news. Oh yeah! Do you remember the net neutrality stuff? You remember that? That was massive. That was massive news, wasn't it? Yeah. Yep. That was it was a little while ago. Yeah, I remember because I remember hearing that term when I was much younger, working for an ISP, and the CEO said that net neutrality is a load of bollocks in an interview, which led to lots of controversy. But yeah, net neutrality is the idea that an ISP should not have any say over how it delivers content to you or whatever's coming through the internet to you. It should be neutral to whatever packets of data are coming through. And removing net neutrality basically sets it up so that ISPs can make a determination on what data or what packets they're going to prioritize over others, right? So like your big streaming services will get prioritized over whatever other shit is going down the pipe. I think that's something like that, right? And then obviously it sets up big companies giving money to ISPs to say, prioritize our data, and the smaller websites don't get a look in, so they get fucked. Oh, Tizzy says, as someone who works for an ISP, net neutrality is still retarded. Why wouldn't you want to prioritize Netflix? Well, I think it's one of those situations where, as a business, it might be the business has got a certain thing it wants to do, but it's worse for the general populace, potentially, right? But anyway, the key point here that this kind of behavior from ISPs would be heavily criticized a few years ago is definitely true. Anyway, let's get through this. I stress that even okay. Even a few years ago, a tier one ISP making waves to try and censor online content would have been international news, a terrible blow to the reputation in the industry, and no company would possibly trust them if it was supplying transit. Path's CTO is Corey Barnhill, now August Hart, a pedophile, allegedly. I guess. I don't know, dude. What the fuck is this? Corey is on record admitting to watching a 9-year-old girl be fucking. What the fuck? What? That's fucking insane, dude. On record. How is he not in prison? What the fuck? His company Path has attempted to illegally seize my hard drives by sending fake Canadian court orders to data centers. Path proudly advertises they were the first ISP to disconnect the KiwiFarms as an ISP level and boasted about this directly to Liz Fong-Jones. Don't worry, we were ahead of the trend when we blocked the KiwiFarms ASN from advertisement in 2021. This also prevents downstream networks like FiberHub from announcing any of the KiwiFarms prefixes through the network. Huh? Despite this, Rumble still uses them. What's worse, Rumble's video site apparently uses Path for application level mitigation as well, which means Path, a mismanaged near-bankrupt security company currently being evicted from data centers for missing months of payments, is probably the SSL endpoint for Rumble. If true, it means Path and Corey Barnhill can intercept and read all communications to Rumble's websites. I've warned them about this for months. At a very basic and fundamental level, the key players in anti-censorship are fractured and isolated from one another. They do not have cohesive goals and frequently allow irrelevant personal issues to divide them. At best, their efforts are split or duplicated, and at worst, they are openly hostile to one another. No such issues exist in the pro-censorship crowd. I mean, yeah, I think this is true. I'll tell you one thing that I noticed the other day, right? Nick Fuentes got unbanned from Twitter, right? And I saw like a spate of people, tons of people that were like posting stuff about bad stuff that he said. And it was almost like an assumption that because he's posted bad stuff that he should just be banned, no question, and shouldn't be unbanned, you know? And I'm just like, wait a second. You've gotten too fucking used to this. You've gotten too used to big tech platforms cracking the nuts of people that you don't fucking like, that you just expect someone to be banned because they posted shitty stuff in the past, you know? So no such issues exist in the pro-censorship crowd. Drowned in capital from mega corporations, which they share between friends like bottles of wine, they plot a web of academic journals, media publications, and presentations at important international organizations to achieve their goals. They live in penthouse suites outside of San Francisco, callously deciding which small, atomized, defenseless component of anti-censorship they will tie up in litigation and defame next. There is no equivalent for anti-censorship. No one stands up to the IEEE or IETF and discusses how the internet is about to collapse into dystopia. The few who do merely cheer it on. Anti-censorship does not network and ignores the lessons already learned. They are too afraid of what will be said about them in the media, when the media is already a demonstrably poisoned network of people who can't wait to strangle the life out of them. The most important anti-censorship organization was the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Yes, I've heard about these people. These people are they're supposed to be big-time defenders of internet freedom, and they will often speak out in defense of controversial websites, right? The one time the EFFF tried to write in defense of the KiwiFarms, they had to anonymize their authors because the two women who wrote it were threatened by a transgender mob. Is it just me? Or does it always seem to be, you know, like, is there like a component of like black people that are trying to get something taken down for being racist? It's either it's them or it's the other. There's also another group of people. I'm talking about activist groups like, you know, the ADL, say, for example. Not anything else, to be clear. To this day, the EFF will take the side of the mob who threatens them and hates them over any organization in a genuine need of defense when they lack a favorable Wikipedia article. Damn, that's crazy. At the time, the KiwiFarms deplatforming was starting to show cracks in the internet backbones. The EFF even launched a petition website called Protect the Stack, dedicated to trying to preserve the neutrality of the internet. They have never contacted the KiwiFarms directly to learn about where the stack is in danger, and as a result, they've accomplished nothing. Despite the size, prestige, and financial support of the EFF, Protect the Stack has accomplished nothing. It is no wonder when they are staffed with the likes of Cooper Quinton, a senior security researcher with the EFF whose hobbies include wishing death on users of a website who have openly supported the EFF for years. Quinton is a proof of concept that anti-censorship wastes its breath trying to involve itself with the existing, rotting structures of the past anti-censorship. These organisations are subverted, and only new ones with a new purpose can work. I wish everyone involved with KiwiFarms a very merry getting hit by a bus. Oh no. Exploit code, not people. Senior security researcher at EFF. Noted activist security type. Anti-fascist, ACAB, he, him. This seems pretty crazy that someone so politically minded would be involved in this and not just have, you know, a sort of more broad perspective on politics. But anyway, pronouns in bio, pronouns in bio, pronouns in bio, opinion discarded, irrelevant, irrelevant, irrelevant. In conclusion, I would like to end this article with a call to action. Here is the problem, here is the solution. While I would generally encourage intelligent cooperation between anti-censorship movements, I have no hope for them. Anti-censorship is inherently individualistic, as those types benefit from freedom the most. Some cohesion is necessary. The anti-censorship crowd is mostly preoccupied with lining their own pockets. Every anti-censorship startup seems hell-bent on being the first person to solve the censorship issue without any cooperation from others, so they may take in all the glory. That really does sum up Rumble quite well, doesn't it? You know? Oh, you think this is about Grums? I thought this is more like referring to Rumble. Like, this perfectly describes Rumble. You know, wants to be the big cat player that solves censorship, but they're not looking for help or assistance with other people that have come before, you know? Oh, okay. There's no conservative think tank doing what the pro-censorship camps do every day. Combining intelligence, power, and money. Instead, we each run our own race and make less progress overall, falling further behind in our endeavors every day, winning only superficial victories with video games and in local jurisdictions, while pro-censorship wins on the big stage and behind the curtains of the international organizations who actually make decisions. There'll be no participation trophies at the gallows. For those with resources, I emphasize the Confederation is required to survive the next decade. There are companies making up the internet which are toxic and needing to be scraped out, and companies which are principled and needing to be built in. The good is out there, and good people are trying, but they don't get the attention they need. A serious person with serious aspirations could start a pro-free speech trade organization or coalition, but it needs to be done in earnest and with the resources out the gate, and it cannot exclude members and what they would bring to the table simply by the negativity of their Wikipedia article. The average person, instead of asking you to do a specific thing, I ask you to consider something. Every day, Liz Fong-Jones wakes up and dedicates the whole of his existence to making the world a worse place. He decides how he's going to enrich himself, who he is going to exploit, where he's going to invest his wealth and grow his personal power, and how he's going to expand his network of nepotistic friends. What are you doing? Are you spending your days productively? Are you putting effort into growing your own wealth and improving your own standing? Are you waking up each day to a personal situation that is better than yesterday's? Based! Yes! Let's go! Anti-censorship in general appears most sensitive to pop culture changes like media localization, video game outfits, and movie race swaps. I fear this may be because anti-censorship has become complacent and defeatist. It appears to many that perhaps the only achievable victories are keeping a movie remake's characters white. I think many are spending their time absorbed in media because our real situation seems so dire. The plane is crashing and everyone just wants a nice in-flight movie. I ask that everyone makes their every day more productive than Liz Fong-Jones and his friends have made theirs. Woo! That was actually a really good article. Fucking hell. That was great. Brilliant. Top tier. He cooked. Indeed he did. Although, unfortunately, there was quite a lot of misgendering in that article, guys. Sorry. Oh, uh-oh. Now, the good thing is it lays it all out so clearly. Of like, because I had heard about bits and pieces, but I don't have the technical know-how to understand this stuff. So being able to read it all in a coherent way that explains some of the technology shit is really good. Yeah. Yeah, that was Josh Moon, Null from KiwiFarms. That was his article. He is right, still kind of snoozing after it though. Yeah, sorry, I should have jangled some keys for you personally, shouldn't I? So you could make your way through it. I just feel like, I'm obviously only a, 1,000 odd Andy or whatever. It just feels so wrong that this stuff doesn't get talked about more and doesn't get publicized more. It's like, where's Josh Moon's fucking voice? He's got his little Twitter account back now. But this stuff's serious. This is big. This is a big deal, and people should be talking about this. And particularly Rumble. Rumble should be all over this, like white on rice. Well, I didn't take it. Well, I mean, it's all referenced. It's all referenced here. I mean, I'm not going to dig through all the references, but I'd happily take anyone that is willing to look at this and say this is wrong in some way. But there's lots of reference. I mean, it seems pretty well, put together. Right, guys. Anyway, we're moving on to something a bit more exciting for you. The equivalent of keys jangling in your face. I'm going to try and get myself back up and running here. So let me take a quick break. And then I'll be back. All right.